Hi, hello everyone. Thank you for joining this info session about Hult International Business School and how to apply for scholarships at Hult. So I've spoken with some of you already, I think, but maybe you can put in the chat where you come from, which country you come from, and we can take it from there. All right, so before we get started, maybe I'll introduce myself quickly to you. So for the ones who don't know me already. So my name is Adrian Bielinski. I'm Associate Director of Enrollment at Hult. I graduated in 2019 in foreign languages and business back in France. Then I worked as enrollment coordinator in Germany. After that, so at Hult, I moved to Hong Kong last year to help students coming from Asia. And yeah, now I'm responsible for the postgraduate program, and I will be, or I might be your advisor in case you intend to join Hult. So yeah, first I will start with a brief introduction about Hult. I will then walk you through the general requirements, introduce to you the scholarship possibilities at the school, and finally help you go through the application. Okay, so for those who don't know much about Hult yet, allow me to tell you a bit more first. So more than a non-profit business school, Hult is a dynamic multicultural community that educates some of the world's most forward-thinking business talents. We flip the traditional approach to education by using a learning by doing teaching style to transform the student skill set. We believe that a business school should give students so much more than just a degree. Education is all about transformation, and you want skills that will transform your life, right? So our program is designed around the belief that to master a skill, any skill from riding a bike to leading a team, you must practice, okay? And that's why we've developed the business challenges, where you get to solve real company work. And yeah, I'll mention that again a bit later. So Hult is also recognized by Business Education's three most prestigious international accrediting bodies. That's AACSB, AMBA, and EQUIS. We are actually the first business school in the entire world, in the US, sorry, to have achieved this triple crown status, which is held by just 1% of business schools in the entire world. So as such, Hult is one of the highest ranked business schools in the world. So these are the different institutions where you can learn more about Hult's rankings. If you want to learn a bit more about the exact details of those rankings, you can visit our website, www.hult.edu. So now about the campuses. Our campuses, and some of you might already know that, but our campuses are located at the center of some of the world's most influential business hubs, which are first Boston. So Boston has been known as a pioneering city in the field of education and has now emerged as an innovation hotspot. So if you choose to join that campus, you will study business in a city where the brightest people come to exchange ideas, to collaborate, and to innovate. We are also located in San Francisco. San Francisco is a forward-thinking city that puts an emphasis on entrepreneurship and prioritizes sustainability. So in San Francisco, you'll be immersed in an international environment that's very close to the Silicon Valley. So now walking away from the American continent, Hult also has a postgraduate campus in London. Here you will study business in a city with more headquarters of international companies than any other city in Europe. And that's also the biggest startup cluster on the continent. And last but not least, Hult is also present in the Middle East, so with a campus located in Dubai. Dubai has been known as a place where the impossible happens. It has been one of the world's fastest growing economies and a very diverse city, both culturally and in terms of the industries that are present there. In addition to any of the home campuses above, you can choose to rotate and travel around the world during summer as you study electives. This setup can help you multiply your contacts, increase your opportunities, and yeah, just enjoy a global experience as well. Okay, so besides the various campus locations, we also have a very international student body, right? So there are over 150 nationalities coming to our campus every year, and none of them represents more than 12% of the life on the campus. So that's really giving you a truly global experience. Now that we've explored the different campuses and the international aspects, I will quickly introduce you to the different programs. In a nutshell, at Hult, you can study a BBA, MBA, or a master's. You can get in touch with your personal advisor to learn more about a specific program, but here's the list of the different masters already. So you've got a master's in international business, master's in marketing, in finance, business analytics, and finally the two masters in entrepreneurship in innovation and social entrepreneurship. Let's take a look at the career opportunities. So the career steps start while you are still studying. Each Hult student has a personal career advisor on campus who will guide you on a journey of self-discovery to help you find a job that you really want. Your personal career advisor provides you with the resources you need to gain the market knowledge, practical skills, the confidence to find a job that's right for you. And yeah, that's a vision of the different resources that we put at your disposal on campus. So career boot camps, skill workshops, one-to-one consultations with your career advisor, as mentioned before, and finally, networking events. We believe that experience is the best teacher. Hult students put theory into practice and experience the business world through internships and through the core challenges that I quickly mentioned before. Throughout the program, students compete to solve real-world business problems as creatively as possible. This means that you graduate with the skills and also with the network, as the companies that you work with during the business challenge often end up recruiting you. So that's really a good opportunity to network. So these are a few examples of companies that we work with and we've worked with until now. So now we dive in the main topic of today's info session, what many of you might have been waiting for, how to apply for scholarships at Hult. So we want to find students who have an interesting profile and a high potential to become successful in the future. With that being said, quality education is a significant investment. So if you have the right profile, we want to help you finance your studies, and we do that through scholarships. So to receive a scholarship, you'll be invited to write up to 2 essays on one of the following topics. Social impacts, global professional, entrepreneurial impacts, future leader, women in business, and academic excellence. So we are gonna get back later on how to write an essay on one of those topics, and yeah, how you can make the best impression to the admissions recruiter. We can complete those merit-based scholarships with additional financial aid, considering your individual situation. So need-based scholarships are awarded based on your financial needs, The jury will decide of the amount after your personal assessment interview, and you will be notified if accepted at the same time as the other scholarships. Okay, so now how to write a compelling scholarship essay. So there are a few tips that I want to give you just so that you make sure to make the best impression after writing your essay. Again, as your advisor, I can give you feedback when the time comes as well, but that's already what you can take from it. So the first advice I would give is to stick to a subject that fits your profile and to be authentic. So you should choose a topic that you feel truly inspired by. What's your passion? How do you want to help the world move to a better place? What interesting stories can you tell us, and what makes you stand out? We are interested in your uniqueness, and that's really what we want to see in your essay. The second step is to be relevant and to organize your examples. This exercise requires you to point out specific examples that are relevant to the topic you choose. It could be referring to a past work experience, an academic achievement, or any other extracurricular activity that you did in the past. You need to find specific examples that really relate to the topic that you choose, and that's one of the lists that I showed before. The third advice that I would give you is to know your audience and to appear as human, to be genuinely human. Before you type a single word, remember that the admissions committee takes time to read each one of the applications received in order to make their decision. So be humble and human. For example, adding authentic gratitude to the reader is a good way of acknowledging your audience, acknowledging the reader. Then the fourth thing that I would tell you is, of course, to be organized and to plan an essay structure. And that's actually one of the most common mistakes that I see when reading scholarship essays. So for any essay, a clear structure is vital. It will ensure your thoughts have an organized flow and will allow readers to follow your track. Start by engaging the committee with your story. Tell us who you are, tell us about your journey. Then develop the body with examples of challenge that you encountered in the past. Don't forget to include what you learned from the experience, and most importantly, how this shows your credibility. So this is an example of a structure that I find very relevant, but of course, if you have other ideas that you can organize in a good way, you can also use that as well. But once having taken all those points into account, also bear in mind that the essays expected are only 300 words, so you need to be very precise and concise with your essay. Then number 5, why are you the perfect candidates? You need to be desirable. You need to show through your uniqueness that you're the kind of candidates that we're looking for. So the admissions committee is actually looking for candidates who have strong potential for the future. You will need to find a way to show that's you. And yeah, at Hult, we value a certain number of qualities. So we want to find students who are bold, international, who like to take risks and have an entrepreneurial spirit. So what are you bringing to the classroom, and what makes you different? How successful will you be in 10 years? That's the kind of questions that you need to answer. And the last step before finishing to write your essay is to close the essay, to close your ideas and to be impactful. The closing is the cherry on the cake. That's what most people remember after seeing a movie or reading a book, and that's just the same with your essay. So you can bring your story together, and you should emphasize on a motto that you want to give to your work overall. Once you finished writing your essay, you need to review it yourself and ask someone to proofread it. So you can ask someone for help. Don't let spelling mistakes get in the way of making your essay strong. Review your essay and read it out loud so you can feel the flow of your words. You can see how it sounds. And finally, do a test run, ask a teacher, ask a family member, colleague to proofread and to give you feedback on the essay. Okay, so finally, the last type of scholarships that we deliver is the Global Citizen Award, which is a scholarship that's automatically being delivered to early applicants. I will tell you a bit more about this later because the deadline is actually today in regards to this specific scholarship. Okay, so now that we are done with the different types of scholarships, yeah, as I mentioned to some of you over the last few days, to be eligible for scholarships, you first need to be an accepted student at Hult. So how can you do that? There are a few requirements to cover. So first, once you submitted your application, you will need to send us your personal statement, which is basically a 600 words essay on your journey, on your background, your future projects, etc. So that's actually one of the things that are the most important when you apply to Hult. And we really like to read essays as we get to know you a bit better and to see if you're the kind of students we're looking for. Of course, then we need a CV updated. We'll need a letter of recommendation from an academic or professional source. Someone who can recommend you, who has a higher status than you in the hierarchy, or a teacher, for example. Then we'll need your undergraduate transcripts. It should be translated to English in case that's not the case already. Finally, we'll need also your English test, TOEFL or IELTS. There are exceptions, but in most cases that will be needed. And then you go through the admissions interview, the personal assessment interview. Okay, so the application process can be completed in 5 simple steps. The first step is for you to go to hult.edu/apply and to enter your personal details, recent employment history and education history. So that's really the first step that you need to take. And I'm gonna get back on this one later in regards to the Global Citizen Award. Then the second step is to submit your application by the next admissions deadline and by paying the $75 application fee. That's at the end of the form where you fill in the information in the step 1. So after that, the third step is for us to gather your documents. Those are the ones I mentioned in the previous slide. And then you will be called for your interview. The purpose of the interview is to get to know you and to know your motivation. It's a conversation. We want to know about your past experiences and your personality as well. It will most likely be a video call using Zoom, although we can make it face-to-face in some cases when you are located close to an admissions office. After that, we aim to give you your admissions decision within 2 weeks after you submitted your application. So we try to give you an answer rather fast. And once your application has been approved, we'll help you confirm your place. You'll be given support for your visa application and for your search for an accommodation as well. Okay, so I will show you rapidly how the application form looks like. That's the first step that I mentioned before. This is the first page. Then you will have to fill in some of your personal information. you will have to tell us about your education, academic, and professional background. And finally, pay the $75 application fee. So that's it. The documents gathering part comes later, as mentioned before. So again, as mentioned before, if you submit your application today, you will still be eligible for the Global Citizen Award, which is a $3,000 scholarship. You will not have to apply for it again. So it will automatically be added to your application, and it can be combined with the other scholarships that I mentioned in the previous slide. So it's a really easy way to get a scholarship upfront before even getting accepted to the school. So our next application deadline is on May 5, 2022. So yeah, that's before then we expect your application to come in case you want to move forward. And yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to discuss so far. So if you have any questions, you can let me know already, and yeah, I will be happy to answer them. Okay, I'll take a look at the chat. Okay, the first question I see, what kind of questions do you ask in the interview? So the questions are mostly about yourself, your past experiences, and your future projects. There is no exercise, there is no tricky question. It's a genuine conversation between you and the admissions recruiter. The goal is really to know what you want to do in the future, and if you have the potential to be a successful business leader in the future. We really want to see that potential. So an example of question that could be, have you ever experienced an overwhelming situation, and how did you manage to work through it? For example, that question helps us understand how you deal with stressful situation and if you can learn from them so that you handle them better in the future. So that's an example of a question that you can get, and the interview is roughly 45 minutes. Hello, Mr. Bielinski. I not have IELTS now. Can I apply first and give the IELTS later? So definitely, yeah. So the first step, as mentioned, is for you to fill in the online application form and deliver the application fee, 75 USD. And after that, we gather the documents, considering your statement of purpose, your transcripts, and your IELTS test. So you can definitely meet the scholarship deadline and still get your IELTS later. Okay, so what's the class size mostly? That depends on the type of class, because you will have to go through smaller classes when you go for electives, for example, specialized courses. But if you go in the core modules, the classes are around 40 to 50 students. So they are rather small classes compared to other universities. We really want to keep it intimate, and yeah, so that the students can also communicate with the teacher directly. Okay, hello sir, is GRE, GMAT a must to apply? No, those tests are not no requirements to join Hult. I named the requirements before. We want to have a personal relationship with the candidates, and yeah, we choose to consider other criteria, but those tests are no requirements. I read in the email that there's also an application fee waiver. How may we be eligible for that? Yes, so besides the Global Citizen Funds, in case you manage to submit the online application form today, you can be considered for an application fee waiver. You still need to pay the application fee, but the application fee will be given back to you under the form of scholarships once you apply for scholarships. How much the Global Citizen Award, and will it be different for each program? To be precise, the Global Citizen Award is $3,000 for the master's program and $5,000 for the MBA program. Do we have Global Citizen Scholarship for MBA? How much is it? Yeah, so as just mentioned, it's $5,000 for the MBA. How generous can we receive scholarship? We aim to give a personal approach to each student. So we will consider two things. First, we will consider your financial situation, what kind of help you need to make it realistic for you to join the school. And then, of course, we'll consider your potential. Do you have the potential to be a successful business leader in the future in case you graduate from Hult? And if we believe that yes, then we will help you with a higher scholarship. I'd like to clarify that there is no full scholarship at Hult. I already started my profile. How do I register for the grant that you mentioned? So if you're talking about the Global Citizen Fund, you simply need to complete your application. You need to deliver the $75 application fee. And after that, you will be automatically considered for the grant because you match the deadline, basically. I took IELTS once in 2016. Can I use those results to apply for the scholarship? Or must it be a recent result? It needs to be no older than 2 years after you took the IELTS. So you might have to take another test, either IELTS or TOEFL. Again, there are exceptions if, for example, you studied in English at university. But yeah, just consider that you will have to take another test. Do you take into consideration the academic GPA? Yes, one of the essays is academic excellence. So if you have a GPA higher than 3.0, then you might be considered for the academic excellence award. That's also something we will consider overall when we accept you or not to the school. And that's why we ask for your undergraduate transcripts. Okay, so I will submit tonight. Okay, then we might get in touch later. Thank you very much. I just paid the application fee. Okay, well, the same. Do they take into consideration the academic GPA for MBA program? Yes, what I just mentioned for the master's program is also applicable for the MBA program as well. We take into account the personality, as mentioned several times already, but of course you still need to show some kind of successful academic record, and that's why we consider the GPA as well. Okay, does anyone have any more questions at this stage? Can we get application fee waived if submit tonight? Yes, so as mentioned, you still need to go through the application, and the application fee will be given back to you under the form of scholarships when the time comes. All right, I'll just maybe wait 1 more minute in case you have any more questions. Okay. So I shared my WhatsApp under the form of a QR code. I think you might have seen it already, so you can get back in touch with me or with your personal advisor in case you want to ask further questions and you want to move forward. Of course, I encourage you to submit your application tonight if you want to get eligible for the scholarship. And yeah, we'll stay available. So wait, maybe one more questions. Okay. So yeah, thank you everyone for the meeting, and yeah, maybe we'll get in touch again very soon.